Hello and welcome again. It's Wednesday, it's 8 p.m. here in Valencia, Spain, and that means it's time to learn some English. My name's Craig from mansioningles.com, where you can study English for free, and also inglespodcast.com, where you can listen and learn English for free. And with me this week, I'm delighted to say hello again to Lynne from putitlikethis.com. Hi, Lynne.
Hi, Craig. Nice to see you again. I'm going to ask you how you are, but I think I already know. You're not so good today, huh?
No, and I apologize if my voice is a bit croaky, but I'm
Uh-huh.
feeling a bit under the weather. If you feel under the weather, you're not feeling very good. I'm not feeling 100%. Bit of a sore throat, so I apologize if you can hear that. And if I cough, I promise to mute my microphone so you don't hear it. So,
Okay.
for people who don't know you, Lynne, can you give us the elevator pitch of putitlikethis.com?
Okay. All right. So putitlikethis.com is my website. I'm an online teacher and I specialize in making tailor-made courses for my students. So if you have a specific aim in English, it could be, I have lots of different types of students. So some students are preparing for an exam. Some students have to write a lot in English and need to improve their writing. Some students are teachers and they want to improve their English because they're teaching in English. So lots of different purposes. Some people are business people and they're doing presentations in English. So if you have whatever specific need you have in English, I create a course for you to help you reach your objective. So if you're interested in having private classes, then you can contact me through my website at putitlikethis.com.
Remember, putitlikethis.com. That's where you have to go. So this week we're going to look at collocations and expressions with two colors, black and white. Mostly black, but hopefully at the end we'll also get to look at white. And before we do that, people have started to come and join us live. Hello, Hema. Good to see you here.
Hi, Hema. Yeah, hi from Madrid.
Eric
We've got
from Mexico.
Eric from Mexico. Heidi from Buenos Aires again.
Good to see you, Heidi.
Andrea, I think she's been here before too, from Paula. And Omar from El Salvador. Yeah,
wow.
Nice to have you with us today. So we've got a nice variety of countries.
Lovely selection. And Buenos Aires, Mirta is here again. Hi, Mirta. Good to see you as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'm sure more people will be joining as we speak. And Christine's in the house. Hi, Christine. Good to see you. And Yasmin's popped in. Hi, from Mexico as well. Good to see you.
From Mexico too. Yeah, great. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, let's get to it.
Collocations with black and white. Well, maybe we should start and say the biggest collocation is black and white. Do you see the world in black and white, Craig?
I see my T-shirt in black and white.
You're black and white, yeah.
But if you see things in black and white, I think you see them very clearly, don't you? Very distinctly. It's either black or it's white. And if it's grey, it's somewhere in the middle. But if you see something in black and white, then you're very clear, you're very sure of what something is. That's how I
But sometimes, yeah, I think that's true. And sometimes, though, it also has a bit of I would say a little bit of a negative connotation sometimes, because if you see everything in black and white, sometimes you can be a little bit dogmatic. Do you think? Which means that you've got very clear opinions, and because of course black and white are the extreme ends of the color spectrum, aren't they? White is at one end and black is at the other. And when you see the world in black and white, then you see it very clearly, but maybe that can make you a little bit dogmatic because you don't see the things in the middle, the shades of grey as well.
That's
so
true.
it could imply that you're not very tolerant sometimes. It depends on the context. Yeah.
And while we're speaking, you may know some of these expressions we're going to look at. You may not know them. We hope you'll be learning some things in the next hour. But if you can think of any collocations, any expressions, any idioms with the colors black and white, write them in the chat, ask us, and we'll be happy to look at them with you and explain what they mean. So the first one we've got is to be in the black. That's something that I like to be in. I don't like to be in the red.
Yeah, not in the white, but in the red.
In the red, because if you have money in your bank account, you're in the black. That's good. If you are negative, if you owe money to the bank or to anybody, then you are in the red, and that's bad. That's negative. So if you're a business, for example, it's really good to keep your business in the black, which means you're earning more money than you're spending.
I think when I was younger, I had difficulties remembering what to be in the black meant. Sometimes I used to confuse it. But I I don't know if this is where it comes from originally, but the trick that I had with that, because sometimes black, we'll see later, black has got quite negative connotations.
It can have,
but
yeah.
this expression is actually very positive, because if you're in the black, you've got money in the bank and you don't owe any money. And the way I helped myself remember this as a child was that I tried to remember, in school, when you did something wrong, the teachers used to mark it with red pen.
Yes.
And so it's like
Some
idea.
teachers still do.
Yeah. And I used to try to imagine like a bank statement, when you used to get bank statements, pieces of paper where it showed all of your outgoings. And that, for example, normally, of course, it's black on white, isn't it? It's black text on a white piece of paper. And if they marked it in red, it's because to try to catch your attention that something is the matter. So that's the way I remembered it. I don't know if that helps people, because I often used to confuse it when I was younger myself. I never used to think to be in the black was a good thing.
And something that confuses me is that people say, or I have heard people say, that when you begin a business, if you launch a business, a new business, it's good to be in the red for the first 2 or 3 years.
Is it?
That's
Why?
what I've heard. Well, apparently you're not paying tax on any money you're earning, and you're investing in the business. And then when you start to make money and you become, you are in the black, then obviously you're paying tax, but then you've had those 2 or 3 years to grow and to buy things you need and to expand as a business. I don't understand that world of business and finance. Maybe somebody in the chat can explain why it may be good to be in the red when you first start a business. I don't know.
I have no idea. I think that's a bit, I started my own business, and I think that's a bit scary.
To be in the red?
Yeah, because you're not sure if your business will work or not. So of course it's great if your business grows and it works. But if you go out at the beginning and you spend lots of money on your business and you don't get any money coming in, maybe your business can collapse, and then you're left with a lot of debt. Then you're in the red for a long time then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Can I jump ahead, because I know we have a list of words, but you just use one of the expressions. I don't know if you noticed, Lynn, you said to put something in black and white.
Oh, I didn't, but
when you were when you put something in black and white, then you put it on paper, you write it down, you type it, because I think you said when black text is on a white background.
That's
so
right.
if you promise to do something, especially in business, or you have a phone conversation and you agree something, it's a good idea to say, please put it in black and white, or can you put something for me in black and white? Because if you have something written, then it's more of a legal obligation and everything is clear. Everything
So
is
it's like
on paper.
So it really means put it in writing, doesn't it?
Exactly.
Can you put what we've agreed in writing? Put it in black and white.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
Should we go to the next one? Do you want to take the next one, Lynn? It's
okay.
blackout, a verb
A
and a noun.
blackout. Yeah, it's a verb and a noun. So I'll start with the I'll start with the verb. Go on. Right. So to blackout. And this is what happens when you lose consciousness. So if, for example, it can be because you faint, because you've got some kind of illness or something, and you suddenly lose consciousness and fall to the ground. And you can imagine it because it's quite descriptive. It's like you're suddenly looking, and then suddenly you just see black, and you can't remember anything. That is to black out, right? So I blacked out. A lot of people, though, it is true, a lot of people black out with drink, don't they, when they drink too much?
Yeah.
Sometimes with alcohol. So a lot of blackouts are due to like excessive alcohol consumption. Right?
Have you ever blacked out
I
because of too
haven't, thank
much?
goodness. I haven't, no. But
You're a
I
lot more
really would.
sensible than I am.
I really wouldn't want to. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. You can, but I have blacked out actually in hospital. I've blacked out in hospital when I had a little operation with anesthetic, and I got up too quickly after the anesthetic.
Oh, wow.
And it was a silly thing because the doctor said, I asked the doctor, I said, I'm feeling fine. Can I get up to go to the bathroom? And he said, oh, yeah. And then he left. And then I got up out of bed and I did 2 steps, and I didn't have any blood pressure. I didn't realize. And I blacked out and hit my head. And then the nurses came running in, and the nurses said to me, who told you to get out of bed? And I said, the doctor did. And they said, never listen to the doctor. He's stupid.
Did you hurt your head? Did you hurt yourself?
Yes, I did. I really did hurt myself. I had a massive wound on my head.
Wow.
And they were really cross. They were really angry at the doctor. And so, but I always remember that. So since then, I've never listened to the doctors. I only listened to the nurses.
Very wise.
So I did black out once. Yeah. So to black out is to lose consciousness. And then we have another use of the word as a noun, and it means, well, you can say I had a blackout, which means lose consciousness, but the more common use of the noun refers to electricity. So I was reading in the news today that in Canada and in North America, they've had really, really a big storm, a big weather event. They've had lots of flooding. And apparently the electricity, they've had blackouts across all of the west of Canada and the north of America, the northwest of America. And it's because of the big storm. So a blackout is when you lose your electrical power and there's no electricity, so there's no light. So it's a blackout. Everything is black because everything is dark. There's no natural light.
My parents used to talk about blackouts during the Second World War,
of course.
because in London, when the Germans were bombing London, my parents were very young, but they used to have to go down to the subway, to the underground, and they couldn't stay in their house. They couldn't turn on any lights because they didn't want the German airplanes to know where they should put the bombs. So a blackout in a city is where every light is turned off so that the enemy doesn't know where you are.
Yeah. And from that, actually, they used to have, I know that my parents told me about that because in the area where my parents were from, there was also bombing. And when they were children, in the house, all the houses had blackout curtains.
That's right.
And they were very, very heavy curtains that you had to close, because if you had a candle on, if you were using a candle to see by in the house, they didn't want that candle light to be seen through a window, because that was also a light where the bombers could see and they could bomb. So they had blackout curtains. And you still see that on when I've bought curtains and blinds. I've seen that on the products. They say blackout curtains or blackout blinds, and it means that they are totally opaque. They don't they don't let any light through.
Norma's got the idea in Spanish. Se va la luz. That's a blackout. Exactly. Yeah. It's sometimes well. That's more of a power cut, isn't it?
The power cut, but a blackout really means a power cut nowadays, doesn't it? I think.
Yeah. But sometimes in Valencia, when they're working on the electricity here, there's a power cut. So there's no electricity, but I wouldn't say it's a blackout.
No, that's right. A blackout means more that you're not allowed to use light, really. There is no light.
Christine's got a question, and we did not think of the black eye. That's another collocation with black. Very good. Yeah. It's when someone hits you in the eye, or accidentally you hit the microphone with your eye, and the area of skin around your eye turns black or purple or yellow or strange color. It's called a black eye.
Uh-huh.
So you
You
can
have a
give
very
someone
big
a black eye,
bruise. Uh-huh.
a very big bruise, and the skin changes color. If you break your nose, you usually have two black eyes, and you look like a panda. That can happen. So yeah, black eye is someone can give you a black eye, or you could accidentally fall over or hit your eye, and then you've got a black eye.
Have you had black eyes before, Craig? I'm sure you've got funny stories to tell us about when you got black eyes.
Not many, because I was a good boy. I did train at karate when I was young, when I was in my teens, 16, 17, 18 years old. I trained karate, and I used to get black eyes because people used to hit me and kick me. So of course, I mean, I wasn't very good, and I got hit a lot, and I got black eyes. Not very often. Black tie.
Chris,
Sorry.
sorry, can we just, because Christine's got another follow-up question after it. She says, what about its figurative meaning? In the sentence like, my restaurant really got a black eye after that food critic published her negative review.
Yeah, an injury. You've been injured figuratively, so not physically, but you've been injured. Maybe your business has been injured, maybe your reputation, you've been injured emotionally. You can have an
No, and your
emotional black
image,
eye.
your image has
Your
been changed
Mhm.
for the worse.
Exactly.
Like if you get a black eye, obviously you don't look as pretty, and then your image has been damaged. That's what it really probably means in that case. It got a black eye.
Hi, Nina. Nina's joined us. Good to see
Hi,
you too.
Nina.
Black tie is the next collocation with black. Did you see the latest James Bond movie with
Yeah,
Daniel
I
Craig?
did. Oh, I did. It was
When
lovely.
he's in the casino with his martinis, he
Uh-huh.
usually wears a tuxedo, black tie. Actually, I think he had a white suit, but anyway, black tie is very formal dinner jacket or dinner wear that you wear at very formal occasions. So a black tie event is a very, very formal event to which you need to wear a dinner jacket, a tuxedo. If you're a Spanish speaker, you call it smoking. I don't know why, but smoking is the translation of a tuxedo, black tie. Yeah.
And you often see that, you can see that if you're lucky enough, or maybe you don't like it, but if you're lucky enough to get invitations to fancy events, then sometimes on the invitation they say black tie only. Or they
Yes.
might say it in some restaurants, black tie only. And that means that you must be dressed. You can't really go in there men cannot enter without a jacket or without a tie. And usually when they say black tie event, obviously the women tend to go as well, dressed up quite glamorously. So you're not going to be allowed entry if you turn up in jeans and a t-shirt, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, can't get in. Yeah. Black and blue. Speaking of black eyes.
So black and blue is coming back to getting a black eye. When you get hit on your skin, you get bruises, bruise, bruises. That's when the blood underneath the skin, it gets damaged, and then you burst a blood vessel. I think the blood doesn't come out, but it stays under the skin, and then it discolors, and it goes lots of different colors. First of all, it usually goes black, doesn't it? I think. Or red, and then black, and then
Maroon.
as it's after a few days, sometimes it starts turning different colors. It goes orange and yellow and green until
all the
it
colors
literally
of the rainbow.
disappears. Yeah. And so if you are black and blue, it means somebody has been beating you up. So if you say I'm all black and blue, it means you've got lots of bruises on you.
Yeah.
So sometimes it can happen through a sport, for example. I think once what was it? Yeah, once we did a fun thing on holiday, and it was on a speedboat, and behind the speedboat they had this big inflatable
Oh, like a banana.
Banana, yeah. And they went
To
across
hold
the
on to it.
lake really, really fast, and you had to hold on to it.
It's great
But
fun.
but the faster it goes, the more you knock. And I fell off it several times and then had to get back on it, which also, and afterwards I was black and blue. My arms were all bruised here from trying to pull myself up. My back was bruised. My legs were bruised. So I was black and blue all over. Mm-hmm.
Black and blue all over. Yeah.
Oh,
This
blackhead.
is a noun. It's a compound noun because head and black together, blackhead. And in our skin, we have very, very small pores. Pore. The pores in your skin. Your skin breathes through pores. And if those pores get blocked, you can get what's called a blackhead. And it's kind of like a spot, a very small, dark spot on your skin. And sometimes if you squeeze it, it goes pop and horrible things like grease comes out. So that's a blackhead.
Yeah, we've all been teenagers. Teenagers get lots of blackheads, don't they? So probably from your teenage years, you can remember blackheads on your skin.
I still
which is
get
when your
them
skin
because
gets
I think
blocked.
it's sometimes from soap as well. It's like a mixture of soap and grease of the skin. And I've got quite greasy skin. So sometimes the soap gets stuck in the pores and I get blackheads. Yeah.
Okay, blacksmith. Right, now a blacksmith. You might have noticed up to now, because we did order these a little bit, all of the expressions we've used so far, you can kind of imagine them because they are descriptive. They refer to black, the color, and everything like blackhead on your skin is a black spot. Yeah, black and blue is the color that you turn if somebody hits you. And this is another one, descriptive one. And this is a blacksmith, but this is a profession. And the job of a blacksmith is to put the shoes on a horse. So he works in a blacksmith's shop, and he has a big furnace, and he puts the iron in the fire, and he knocks the iron in a shape of a shoe, and eventually he puts the shoe on the hoof of the horse, and that's a blacksmith. Of course, blacksmiths also make other things. Originally, they just put shoes on horses, but blacksmith is for anybody who works with iron. So anybody who, and nowadays blacksmiths, they might make gates, or they might make, what else do blacksmiths make?
Anything from iron.
Anything from iron,
Railings,
gates, railings, shutters on your window. And in Scotland, in Gretna Green, the blacksmiths can marry you in Scotland.
Really?
Yes, they can.
Oh, it's interesting. I didn't know that.
They have a right to marry you.
Another thing that you notice the second part, Smith, is a very, very common surname. And Smith, I think, is someone who works with their hands, because there's goldsmith, silversmith, blacksmith, different smiths. So
yeah, and we should say why he's black. We should say why he's black. The reason he's black is not because he has black skin. It's because he's dirty. Because when you work with iron, they got a lot of soot from the fire, and so that made them black. Yeah. So they weren't necessarily black race, but it was because their skin turned black with the dirt from the fire.
And I think that's a dying profession, isn't it? Blacksmith.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Well, black comedy is black humor is when you laugh at something that is usually quite serious or maybe even depressing. For example, death. When people die, that's not something that we're used to laughing about. It's a very serious thing, very sad thing. But sometimes it can be funny in particular circumstances. So laughing at something that is not usually laughed at because it's sad or it's negative is called black comedy or black humor. Can you think of any famous black comedies? Young Frankenstein is an old film that I really like, in black and white, funnily enough.
Four Weddings and a Funeral. Could that be
Yeah, the
a
funeral
black
part.
comedy a little bit, the funeral part?
Uh-huh.
Um,
Airplane is about an air crash, isn't it? That's a very funny film.
Airplane. Is it a black comedy though?
It's a spoof.
It's a spoof more, isn't
Yeah.
it? A black comedy is something that you end up laughing at. I mean, actually, there are parts of Pulp Fiction which is quite black humor, I think, because it gets everybody laughing at very nasty things. Yeah. It's difficult, black comedy, to describe, and I can't think right now. I Monty Python used to have quite a bit of black humor, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a scene in Monty Python and the Holy Grail where the Black Knight, another use of black, the Black Knight is stopping King Arthur from passing. And King Arthur draws his sword and he cuts off the arms and the legs of the Black Knight, which is a horrible thing. And you can see the blood and it's really disgusting, but it's funny to me. And that's black comedy.
Black
Something
humor.
that maybe you feel a bit guilty that you're laughing at, but because of the way it's presented, it's funny. So black comedy.
Mirta is saying the Benny Hill show. Wow. Mirta is from Argentina, aren't you, Mirta? I'm amazed that you have seen the Benny Hill show in Argentina. It's a very old show, Benny Hill.
Yeah, but I wouldn't call it black comedy. I would call it slapstick, not slapdash, slapstick
a little bit.
comedy. Yeah, there's lots of sexist jokes in Benny Hill.
Yeah.
Not really black comedy. Black comedy, you're laughing at something depressing or sad or negative. Oh, Gemma says it's humor negro. Oh, it's the same translation. I did not know. Thank you, Gemma. I had no idea it was a direct translation.
Or comedia negra.
Comedia negra. Okay, it's quiz time. We've got a quiz for you. There's no music, but there's a quiz coming up. We're going to give you 3 questions, and the questions have choices. And you have to write in the chat which word you think is correct for the expression. And our first expression is this.
So this is the black something of the family. This is another expression with black, and there's a word that goes after black. But which animal is it? Sheep, goat, cow, or cat in that expression? Sheep, goat, cow, or cat? The black what of the family? Craig, your microphone has gone off.
I muted it to cough, and I forgot to unmute it. I was saying this is my sister. My sister is this. She is the strange one, the unusual one, the one that
I bet she says that about you. I bet she says that about you.
Maybe she does. But it's, the person in the family who goes against the normal thing.
But I think everybody knows this one. Everybody's getting it right. Christine, Aldo, Mirta, Hema, Elena, Anna.
Hema.
The black sheep of the family.
Very good. The black sheep.
So this is the one that is different. So if you've got a group of people and one person is particularly different, then it's the black sheep of the family. But in this case, it's not just because they're different. It's also a little bit negative, don't you think?
It's rebellious, isn't it?
Rebellious. So now we're coming into another aspect of these words with black. Many of them are just descriptive and they refer to the color, right? And then some of them have a negative connotation. And Craig and I were talking about, where's this negative connotation come from? Why do so many examples with black, why do they have a negative connotation? And we were thinking that maybe, we don't know, but maybe it's because we associate with light and dark, and you associate darkness,
Day and night, you
or
said.
day and night, and you associate darkness with fear and with insecurity, and negative
Mystery.
things happen in the night. And of course, you can have white sheep and you can have dark sheep. It is true that black sheep are less common, I think,
Yes,
aren't they?
they're
So
rare.
in this case, black sheep also has that idea of rarity. Someone who goes against, Christine said something lovely there, someone who goes against the tide.
Yeah, or you
is
could
the
say
black
goes
sheep.
against the grain as well.
Or against the grain.
Against the tide. Nice expression, Christine.
Lovely. But it's always a black sheep. So your sister's a black sheep. You're convinced of that, are you?
Yeah, she's I don't want to embarrass her in public, but
you know that the thing is though, Craig, when you've only got one brother or sister, there's no judgment out there. So it's, like you might call her the black sheep and she's probably convinced you're the black sheep, and nobody knows. You have to have more than one sibling for the family to vote on it. There's got to be more than one of you.
Well, I know that my sister's done things that are quite extreme and rebellious.
And so have you. So have you. You've told us lots of stories on here that are quite rebellious.
But the only thing I really did that was rebellious was go traveling when I was younger, because I had very suffocating parents and I wanted to go free and just travel and see the world and get away from my controlling parents. That's really not a black sheep, is it? That's just,
I don't know.
Maybe it is. Maybe I'm a grey sheep. Anyway, the next quiz question.
It's
a simile, because when you have the two as's as something, it's similar to. So it's a simile. So when we say as black as, what's the common expression or simile? What's the common collocation for that? Is it as black as tar? And tar is what you put on the road, asfalto, kind of. I think there's another word for it in Spanish, but I can't remember. So when you heat tar, it becomes a liquid. And then when it becomes solid, it's very hard. And you put it on the road. Or is it as black as mud? As black as coal, which is carbon? Or as black as dirt, suciedad?
Everybody thinks coal. I can see Christine, Aldo, Mirta, Hema. Yes. They all reckon it's coal. What about you?
Very good. Very good.
Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Well done, all of you. You knew it. You're doing very, very well. Fantastic.
Do we have another question?
There's one more. Yep.
One more.
There we go.
Right. So this is a phrase. And what does this phrase mean? Well, this phrase means that maybe, for example, maybe Craig is criticizing me. And I say to Craig, you can't criticize me because you are just as bad as me, right? So we use this phrase to try to deflect the criticism from somebody, because we say the person who's giving the criticism is exactly the same. Yeah. Now, I'll give you the three alternatives. Only one is correct. The fire calling the chimney black, the pot calling the kettle black, or the floor calling the ceiling black.
So a good example might be if I'm speaking to my sister and I say to her, I think you've always been the black sheep of the family. She would use this against me and say this back to me because she thinks I'm the black sheep of the family.
Exactly.
Very good. Christine's got it.
Yeah, they're all getting it. They're getting it really well. The pot calling the kettle black. Not black, but black. The pot calling the kettle black. Now, the pot is the thing that you make spaghetti in, or it's like a saucepan, right? It's a pot. a cazuela, a saucepan, a pan. And the kettle is what you boil water in. And this is a very, very old expression because it comes from when you used to put these things on a real fire. And these metal recipients used to get very black. And they
because
were always black.
you used the word before, Lynn, soot, when you were talking about the
Soot.
blacksmith. The soot is like the black dust that appears when you burn something on a real fire.
Yeah, and so these instruments were always black. They weren't nice and stainless steel like they are now when we put them in the dishwasher and we cook on induction or whatever. And so the pot calling the kettle black is the idea of these two instruments saying, "Oh, look at you, you're dirty," and the other one going, "No, you're just as dirty as me." So it's the pot calling the kettle black. Mm-hmm. And your example was perfect, Craig. I'm sure that your sister, you call your sister the black sheep, and she goes, "You're the pot calling the kettle black. You're just as bad as me."
Christine says we've made a typo, a typing error, a typo.
Oh, have we?
Have we? The fire calling the chimney black.
The pot calling the...
Which word, Christine?
Black. It is black, Christine. She's saying, black. Is it black or back?
It's black.
But it's black. Somebody typed in very quickly, and I think they were putting the words back. But it's not back, it's black. The pot calling the kettle black. It's not calling them again. No, it's calling them black.
Almost all of these expressions use the word black. It's nearly Black Friday. That's one inspiration for this. We might be speaking about some expressions with white if we have time, but all of these that we've looked at so far have the word black. And Mirta has given us the Spanish, la saltan por el mango. That's a new one for me. El mango. No. La saltan por el mango. That might be an Argentinian expression because I have not heard that.
Aldo also has an expression in Peru. Can you see Aldo? He says here in Peru, it's la sartén le dice a la ola. Oh.
Pero le dice negro? Is it black?
Does he say it's black?
Is it just the frying
pan? The pan calls the kettle.
Pot something.
Yeah. Anyway, in English it's black, right?
Yeah. The pot's calling the kettle black because both of those are black. So that's the logic behind it. As Lynn said before, those were more general expressions that we've covered. Now we'll look at some more negative connotations with the word black. And the first one we've got is a blacklist. If you're on a blacklist, that's not a good thing, is it? If you're on a blacklist, that is a negative thing. You don't want to be on a blacklist. I'm trying to think of an example. When is someone on a blacklist?
A blacklist is, for example, if you are voicing dissent, right? So if you are disagreeing with things. So just imagine a company, all right? And the employees of the company, occasionally they're not happy with certain things. And maybe one of the employees is always the one who speaks up and says, "Excuse me, managers, we're not happy with this. Yeah, this is not safe." Right. And the managers go, "Okay." And then there's a dispute and then it gets settled. And then maybe in a few months' time, there's another problem. And it's the same person who speaks up again. Right. And they're not happy. And then people have the idea that the managers start now to keep a list of the people who cause trouble. So if you're on a blacklist, it's because somebody thinks you are a troublemaker. And if you're on a blacklist, then you might not get promotion or you might not get certain things. You lose opportunities if you are on a blacklist. Now, blacklists usually in Western democracies are not officially allowed, but everybody believes that they exist. Yeah. I think, is that true? That people believe that they exist. So you don't want to be on a blacklist. Or you might say, "Oh, I'm sure he didn't get promoted because he's on a blacklist."
And another negative word that's also a compound noun is blackmail, which is a crime. And it's a strange word because if you look at mail, which is commonly used in American English for post, you mail a letter. Blackmail, for me, I always think of a black envelope with a black letter inside. But what it really means is that somebody has information, secret information about you. And if you don't pay that person, they will tell the police or the authorities or the media what you have done. So imagine, for example, one of my neighbors sees me not separating my plastic from my paper, from my waste, from my cardboard. And they say, Craig, you should be green. You should be conscientious and be careful of the environment, save the planet. If you don't pay me €5 a week, I'm going to tell the local newspaper that you, Englishman living in Spain, you're not separating your rubbish. That's blackmail, because if I don't pay him, he's going to release the information.
What kind of example was that, Craig?
It's a good example.
That was a very fanciful example. I'll tell you a clearer example. You have a politician who gets caught with prostitutes, and somebody takes pictures, and they have pictures, and then they say to the politician, if you don't pay us so much money, we're going to expose you. We're going to write to the newspaper, and you will not be elected in future. That's a more legitimate blackmail. I don't know what Craig's neighbours are like, but I've never had the situation where a neighbour wanted €5 a week for not separating the rubbish.
Yeah, well, you haven't met my neighbours.
Okay, so that's blackmail.
Yeah, to blackmail someone or to be blackmailed by someone. Chantaje in Spanish. Have you ever given anyone a black look?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe somebody might think I've given them a black look. Now, the idea here is the way that you look at somebody. I'm trying to think, can I act this out? But if you look at somebody very disapprovingly, like...
That's good.
How's that one? Is that one good? Is that a black
That's
look?
like my neighbour when I don't separate my rubbish. Yeah, that's my
there you
neighbour.
are. That's a black look. That's my attempt at a black look. A black look is a disapproving look. So it's an expression that you put on your face, and it shows disapproval, or maybe disapproval, really, doesn't it? To give someone a black look.
Yeah, it's not anger, is it? But it's more
it's not anger.
Disapproval is what I'd say. Imagine you do something bad and your boss sees you. Oh, she gave me a black look because she saw me photocopying things I shouldn't be. A photocopier, for example. So yeah, to give someone a black look, it's negative, and it's exactly what Lynne's just demonstrated. Murta went back to the last expression we had, to get money by threatening someone. Exactly. Yeah. Doesn't have to be money. It could be other things, but it's usually money. Don't get me started, Jose Luis. Don't get me started on my neighbours. Question from Christina: black collar worker. I have not heard that. There's white collar worker
and blue collar
worker. So blue collar worker does manual work, like a blacksmith, for example, or somebody who works in a factory. And a white collar worker commonly works in an office. So it's a very clean job. You don't get your hands dirty. And that's quite easy to remember because white is a clean color. And if you're a white collar worker, then you're an accountant, or you're a civil servant, or you're a lawyer, or something where you don't get your hands dirty.
I mean, I think blue collar and white collar workers was the origin was actually in factories, because when they created factories, there were kind of two types of workers. I remember working in a factory many, many years ago, and they had two different canteens. And one of the canteens was for the blue collar workers and one was for the white collar workers. And that's literally because the blue collar workers, they wore blue overalls, like they had like a uniform that was blue that they would put on, and it would protect their clothes because they got dirty doing whatever they were doing. I mean, that was when I had, where there were two separate canteens. That was when I worked in Ford many, many years ago in a car company.
Did they have two separate bathrooms as well?
I can't remember, but I do know
Probably.
that they had two different canteens. They served
Segregation.
the same food, but you couldn't sit. A blue collar worker couldn't go into the white collar workers' canteen, and the white collar workers had much cleaner jobs. So they usually had shirts and ties, and they were secretaries or they were account managers or whatever. But then that distinction, blue collar and white collar worker, was extended beyond the factory. So like Craig said, you could be a civil servant and you would be known as a white collar worker, or a blacksmith would be known as a blue collar worker, a manual worker. And Christine said that she found out yesterday that a pink worker also exists. Now, I've never heard of that, but maybe Christine can tell us what it means. I could assume it maybe means a job that only a woman does. Could that be a pink collar worker?
Or
I
maybe
don't know. I've never heard of it before.
LGBTQ plus something, maybe.
Oh.
I don't know.
Oh,
Interesting.
I don't know. Maybe Christine can tell us, because that's a new use of the word. But I've never, ever heard a black collar worker. Never.
Nope.
No.
Even a priest has a white collar. What's the next one? So we've got, yes, when I traveled in my early 20s, I changed money on the black market, which is illegal. I shouldn't have done it, but it was a better rate of exchange. I got more money changing it on the street than going inside a bank and changing it legally. So the black market is an illegal way of trading or doing something. Anything can be on the black market. It just means it's not a legal way to buy and sell something.
Mm-hmm. And Christine has responded to the pink collar worker, if you can bring it up. So you're going back to what is a pink collar worker. She says it's exactly that. So I presume with women, and it's normally low paid jobs. So maybe things like maybe cleaning or childcare, those kind of jobs that are traditionally done by women, and they're very, very low paid. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, the black market. The black market's also very popular when there's a war. I remember our parents talking about the black market. So when there was a war on in the country, and then you couldn't buy things in certain shops, then there was a black market where people illegally managed to get goods, and then they would sell them at very high prices on the black market.
Yeah, but it wasn't like alcohol or drugs. It was
No, it was just
butter and sugar
and bread
and
and sugar.
chocolate and things. Yeah, every
And
day.
tights. I remember my mum used to tell me that
Stockings.
and tights they used to get on the black market.
Black tights on the black market. Okay. And coming up soon, we have Black Friday. This originated in America, and the last Thursday of November in the United States of America, they celebrate Thanksgiving. And the day after Thanksgiving is called Black Friday. And originally, I think it was because I think it came from the police from Philadelphia. There used to be a very popular, maybe there still is, a very popular American football game. And it was always on a Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving. And everybody would go into the city center to see the football game and to go shopping. And all the police had to deal with the crowds, and they had to work overtime, and they had to look at people where they were parking. And there were so many people because of this football game and the shoppers that the police called it Black Friday, because nobody wanted to work on Black Friday. And that developed from there into commercialization of what we now know as a time of year when you can buy things cheap at a discount. So Black Friday is after Thanksgiving. This year it's the 26th of November. And then there's Cyber Monday, which is where you can buy things cheap on the internet and find some good deals and bargains. And that's on the 29th of November. Are you a Black Friday shopper, Lynn?
Not really. Not
You don't
really.
bother
No.
with that?
Well, I don't know. I've kind of since COVID, I think I've grown out of shopping. I can't remember the last time I went shopping. No. And I don't think so, because I think it's very here in, I don't know in America, maybe in America, because that's where the tradition really is in America. But in Spain, that tradition is fairly new, that we have Black Friday. And I think it's a swizz. Can you put that in the chat file? It's a swizz. I'm sure nobody knows what that is. A swizz is like a swindle. I think it's a trick from businesses just to try to make more money. I think you go in and they say you have so much money off and you can get a bargain, but you go in and the prices are higher for other products. So maybe you can find bargains, but most of all, I think they're just trying to boost their sales before Christmas, really.
Yeah,
here in Spain, anyway, I think.
Yeah. Which is what we're doing at the Mansion Inglés, because we have a Black Friday sale.
Sorry.
That's okay.
His is not a swizz. His is not a swizz. No, his is totally legitimate.
If you're interested in English courses, we're offering 50% discount from the 26th of November to the 29th of November. So only for 4 days. And to get that, you have to use the code Mansion, and I'll put that in the chat if you're interested. Every English course that we sell will be 50% off, and you use the code Mansion at this website.
Well, that's a really good offer, 50% off. That's a good one. That's not a swizz.
Yeah, and the courses aren't expensive. They're sort of they start from €12 and go up to about 24, 29 euros. So they're not expensive, but you get 50% discount if you buy a course during those 4 days of the Black Friday weekend. Questions? Any more questions in the chat?
For Black?
Christine says it's just around the corner. Yes, just around the corner means it's very, very close. It's next week, I think.
Mm-hmm. There was one that we didn't put up here, which I want to do with black, and that's black tea or black coffee. You say, how do you want your coffee? And you say, just black. Black coffee, please, a black tea. And what we refer to with black coffee and black tea is obviously it's black in color, so there's no milk in it. But we often also mean that we don't want sugar in it as well. Would you say that, Craig?
Yeah.
I think if you have black tea, if you say, I just like black tea or black coffee,
I'll take
it means
black.
it's just pure, really, in that sense. Yeah, it's obviously black in color, but very often, because you tend to say, I want a black coffee with sugar. Yeah, if you want sugar. Yeah, and if you just say, I want a black coffee, that's a coffee on its own without any milk and no sugar. That's black. I'll have it black. Do you drink your coffee and tea black, Craig?
No, I don't. I take milk and sugar with my coffee and my tea. Yeah. Not a lot, but yeah, some milk and some sugar. And you?
Tea just with milk, and coffee with both, with sugar and milk. Yeah, I'm not a black, but I only like the black type of tea. I don't like green tea, jasmine tea,
No, me
fruit
neither.
teas. I don't like any of those. I only like proper black tea, which is English breakfast tea.
Builder's
But
tea.
I always drink it. I always drink it with milk and sugar.
Me
Okay.
too.
Yeah. Right. So shall we just maybe shall we have a quick quiz for white to finish off
We've
with?
got two white questions just to balance the black and white before we revise what we've introduced and then say goodbye. So white expressions with white. Do you know this expression? As white as. You'll recognize this as another simile because of the two ases, as. So we had as black as coal. What's the opposite? As white as ice, fairy, not fiery, fairy, snow, or as white as clean sheets. Write your answer in the chat and we'll see if you can get this one. Yes, Christine had no problems with that one. And Ana Laura also correctly put snow. And Mirta, sorry, also said snow. And Gemma,
As
yeah,
white as
correct.
snow.
As
Yeah,
white as
perfect.
snow. So as black as coal, remember? As black as coal, as white as snow. And the other one was, what does this
So
mean?
this is when somebody is not telling, is saying unimportant or trivial things that are not true. So do we say he's always telling white stories? He's always telling white lies? He's always telling white porkers? Or he's always telling white tales? Okay. Have we got some answers?
Christine's got
They've all got
lies.
it.
Very good.
White
Mirtha's got
lies.
it. Emma's got it. Yeah, you're doing very well. You're on fire today.
Now, I thought that one was interesting because normally the word black, a lot of them have negative connotations, and words with white tend to have positive connotations. But this is an exception because this is actually negative, because white lies means it's a lie. But it does mean that it's a small lie.
Soft
It's not
lie.
it's a soft lie. It's not
Or
a
maybe a
serious
lie
lie.
for a good reason. Perhaps.
And maybe we can tell the other, because the other things are also correct with the verb tell. He's telling stories, not white stories, but he's telling stories. If you're telling stories, it just means you are, telling stories. You like to, what's another word for a story?
Contar cuentas in Spanish.
Cuentas. You tell interesting stories. If you tell porkers, they are very, very big lies. They are whopping lies. Porkers comes from like a big fat sausage. And we say, if you're telling porkers, you're telling a really big lie. Yeah. But we don't use the word white with it. You're just telling porkers. And if you're telling tales, you're telling stories that are not true. Is that right? You're telling tales, or you're telling stories that are not true.
And notice the collocation is with tell and not say. So you tell stories, you tell lies, and you tell tales. One interesting thing about porkers is that where I'm from in London, we have lots of rhyming slang. It's called Cockney slang. So Cockney rhyming slang for a lie is a pork pie. So
Oh,
you might hear
really?
porkers in London. If you say you're telling pork pies, that means you're telling lies.
Now, Anna Laura has said it means lying with a good intention, but I'm not sure whether the intention is good with white lies. Do you agree?
I think it can
Craig?
be. I think it can
could be, but it's not always. Sometimes it's a white lie. For example, I mean, you could say it with a good intention. For example, if Craig says to me, "What do you think of?"
My grandmother died, or my dog died. Did they suffer? No, they passed away peacefully. Maybe they really suffered, but why would I tell you the truth if it's going to
Hurt you.
Hurt you.
Yeah. Or maybe if I was going to pick, that was a bit of a black humor one, that one. I was going to pick a more obvious thing, like maybe you try a jacket on and you say, Lynn, what do you think? I think this one looks nice. And because you've said you think it looks nice, I don't want to hurt your feelings. Maybe I don't think it looks nice, but I might say, oh, it's quite nice. And that's a little white lie because I don't want to hurt your feelings. Yeah. So in that sense, it could be a good intention.
I've got this perfect example, and this is true. My sister's just finishing decorating her new house, and we have got completely different taste because she's the black sheep of the family.
Of course.
So she's bought these really flashy curtains, and she's painted the walls in strange colors, and she's got this horrible furniture. But I'm not going to say that when I see it because I don't want to hurt her feelings.
You're just going to say it on Facebook to the whole world. And on a video that she can watch afterwards and know
she's not going
exactly
to watch
what
this.
you think.
She's a technophile. She's not going to watch this. But I'm going to have to find some words that are diplomatic and maybe tell a few white lies and say, well, that's a very interesting set of curtains you've bought there, Steph. I've never seen that color before. What an unusual design. Yeah, that
Craig,
kind of thing.
you know what I'm going to do now?
You're going to tell her?
Well, you could pay me €5, maybe, and then I won't tell her.
Blackmail.
Exactly. You've just set yourself up for a classic blackmail situation.
I know.
Especially from your neighbours who want to blackmail you about your green rubbish.
Let's go back before we say good night and we go and have our dinner. Let's go back and see what we've been looking at today. So collocations with black and white. The first one was to be in the black. Do you remember? To have money in the bank. The opposite of being in the red.
A blackout is when you lose consciousness. It could be a verb, to black out, or it could be a noun, a blackout, which is when there's an energy, the energy goes, there's a power cut, and there's no light at all. That's a blackout.
If you go to a very formal dinner and you have to wear a dinner jacket, that's called a black tie event. So wearing black tie is very, very formal clothes.
Black and blue is if somebody beats you and you have lots of injuries, you have lots of bruises on your skin, then you are black and blue.
To make something legitimate and legal and clear, it's good to put it in black and white, which means write it down, put it in writing.
A blackhead is it's a kind of spot on your skin when your pore gets blocked and it looks black. We also have whiteheads because that's another blocked spot, but it looks white. So we have whiteheads and blackheads.
And we have blacksmiths who, if you have a horse, they will probably put shoes or horseshoes on their hooves, which are their feet. And a blacksmith works with iron.
And a black comedy is a comedy, but the kind of humor that is in it is you're laughing at the misfortunes of others, and that becomes funny. That's a black comedy.
We have the expression, the black sheep of the family. That's a rebellious person who does something different to everybody else in the family.
And it's Craig's sister as
or
well.
Me.
As black as coal is a simile. When something is very, very black, you say it's as black as coal.
And the pot calling the kettle black is when someone accuses you of something and you want to return the favor. So if I call my sister the black sheep of the family, she might say, look at the pot calling the kettle black. That's you. You're the black sheep, not me. And then negative connotations.
A blacklist is when you are being discriminated against. So your opportunities are being restricted because somebody has you on a list and they don't want to give you the same opportunities as other people for some reason. Yeah.
And blackmail is the money I have to pay Lynn so that she doesn't tell my sister how bad her taste in furniture and curtains is.
To give someone a black look is what your sister will be doing to you when she finds out that you don't like her decoration. She'll be giving you a very disrespectful look.
And because she's a black sheep, she'll probably buy a gun on the black market to shoot me with.
And if she buys it on Black Friday, she can get it for 50% off. That's a
Or
sale.
you could go to the Mansion English store and get a 50% discount on any of our courses from the 26th to the 29th of November.
All right. Oh, and this is the last one. As white as snow is another simile to say that something is very, very white.
And to tell white lies is to tell lies possibly for a good motivation, a good reason, but it's never good to tell lies. So it's probably usually a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, time for tea and coffee and something to eat, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you for everybody for joining us and joining in, and we hope you've learned something tonight. And I'm Lynne at putitlikethis.com. So if anybody's interested in online classes, you can go there and find out what I do and get in touch with me.
If you don't know about our podcast, you can listen to it at the website, inglespodcast.com. It's free, or you can listen to it wherever you listen to your podcasts. And we have a website with also which also has lots of free material, courses, listenings, newsletters, lots of goodies, lots of good things to help you with your English. So why not drop in, have a look at what's there, mansioningles.com.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you for coming.
And I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. And I think, Craig, you're next week with Monica again, yeah?
Yes, next week, same time, Wednesday, 8 o'clock. Monica will be here and hope you can join us for that. So have a good week and take care.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.